Hello everyone and welcome back to the 2025 Invitational. Now, unfortunately, to cut through the elephant in the room, unfortunately my camera is not working at the moment. Trying to get it fixed. I think a software update has messed up my cameras royally, so trying to get that fixed as soon as possible, but unfortunately no cam for me tonight. Bit of a shame, because I even dressed up all nice in the hopes that it would be working. Either way, we are very soon going to head to the track, and we have got ourselves an exciting race ahead of us. First, let's talk about, of course, what happened last time out. So last time out, we had the Porsche RSR GTEs at Imola, and it was quite a race. It was quite a spectacle, I gotta say. And we do have to, of course, congratulate our winners, those winners being Timi Lehtonen in first place with Pavel Stener and Matteo Bouquet in second and third. And they've got a healthy dose of points heading into tonight's round. As you've got, following off of that, you had Robert Poor in fourth. We had fifth going to Marvin Butzin with Patush, Ramsey, De Vries, Schliting and Wilson in the top 10. Now, we did have, say, a couple of unfortunate, say, DSQs and a couple of penalty points being dished out as well. But we'll talk about that a bit more when we go trackside. Now, we are going to join the races in just a moment. We are just finishing up practice, but a reminder of how this all works. We have a 5-minute hyperpole style qualifying, and then you follow on with that with a 45-minute race. And it is fixed setups with success ballast, and it's a great opportunity for the racers to really just show what they can do when it comes to raw driving, to raw pace and on even footing. So we'll see who has the means and the wherewithal to take it. And not to mention as well the success ballast in play. So Lehtonen will be hit with 40 kilograms of success ballast owing to his first place. Pavel Stener is going to hit 32, 24 for Bouquet, and Poor in fourth is going to get 16 kilograms with 8 kilograms for Marvin Butzin. And if they do continue to hold that, they have up additional 5 kilograms. So let's see who has what it takes, as we are now completing practice and we are about to go trackside for hyperpole qualifying. Now, tonight's matchup, tonight's round, if you haven't seen the announcement video, of course, this is going to be a bit of a shock to you, but we are, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be heading to none other than, drum roll please, we are headed to Sebring. We're headed to Sebring, folks, and what a track it is. Certainly one of my favorites. Certainly one that I love to indulge in a little bit. It's a 6-kilometer romp. I really love the hairpin turn in particular. So you've got a couple of opportunities to go for some overtakes down the Allman Straight, and then of course you have Sunset Bend, that triple apex right-hand corner that is punishing and unforgiving to those who are unawares and not willing to fully commit. Either way, here we go. It's beautiful and hot here in Sebring. I think it is about, say, 40 degrees, at least on the internal data that we have. But everyone's going to be rushing out the pits as soon as possible. We are in the Orica 07 LMP2s of the round today. So let's see who has a handle on these cars. We have had a 1 hour 15 practice session. We did have a extended server practice just owing to a couple of technical hiccups, plus making sure everyone had a chance to get in and get acclimatized to their cars. The fixed setups mean you can't necessarily dial it in, but you can still find a bit of ground and you can learn to control the car underneath you. So now, making our way onto the track. So a quick lap here at Sebring is going to be hugely important because you're going to have a lot of squabbles going into turn 1 and turn 2. Particularly turn 1, that 90-degree left-hand apex is going to be a long and drawn out corner. You have to be mindful of your opponents sharing the course with you. Here's Pavel Stenner, and taking a bit of a off-track excursion. It's going to be a tough one here, as everyone is coming forward and trying to push their cars to the limit. They will have Lettonen out on track now. I'm curious to see how Lettonen does here. He did say that it is not his ideal... Well, last time was near his ideal combo, so maybe not too close here. Apologies, brief mic hiccup there for a moment. And now going on to the track in full. Let's see who has what it takes to really push the limits, push the boundaries. The outlaps are looking like they are coming to a close now. They're about a 2-minute lap is going to grant a chance for 2 attempts at qualifying here today. The times are going to start coming on to the board and quickly rolling through. Issei Cook is going to be the first one across the line, although it is just the initial. Will be, say, the fastest so far. So Hendrik de Vries has really gripped up and got it cooking. It's a 53.461, only just outdone by Dan Wilson as he now comes his way through here. Let's see what Lettonen's got coming up to the line now. Say 52.9 is the fastest. That's now going to be from Marvin Butson, as Lettonen with a 53.359. But these are when the real laps are going to start coming out now, as everyone has now got their installation laps under their belts, and it's time to see who can really push that envelope. We're going to be poured across the line, 54.3, and looks like he's drawing to a stop here. I think we are already seeing times come to a halt here. For some, it's going to be one to forget. Here's Hero. Number 22. Say these cars are looking very nice indeed. Very nice overall. Looks like Paul Sims is looks like there's an issue with his car, because I think he's got a placeholder model. Yeah, he's got a placeholder model because there's no engine sound, and there is what looks like an LMU cover car with no shadows and lighting. I've got to say, that's the first time I've seen that. That's a first. I genuinely haven't seen that before. So Hiro now going in to 13th position. We have 19 cars joining us on track today. Let's see who else has got something cooking under the hood. Here's Bouquet. Now swooping through. We just had, I think that was Richard Cook just jumping up into 5th place with a 53.6. Keep an eye on that timing board as more racers start rolling through. And we try to keep up as best as we can. Pavel Stenner setting a new fastest time, 52.814. Immediately outdone by Butson, who goes once again. And as Hyperpole now comes to a close, 52.6 coming in, and 52.7 coming from Timi Lettonen. Let's see what Bouquet has in store, of course. Starting off strong in the first round of the Invitational, and now with the checkered flag coming in on qualifying now, it's the last chances for anyone to set their times if they haven't done so already. Wilson, 53.3. Looks like that will be the best he'll hold. There's Bouquet coming up to the line in a 53.2. So he's going to get himself into 4th place, and that is going to be where most laps come to a close. Hendrik de Vries going across the hairpin turn, just trying to grip himself up as quick as he can, and he goes through Fangio into Cunningham. Richard Cook going too far off into the side of the grass, and that's going to be peeling out. I think that's the tower turn right there. Going to eventually retire himself to the pit lane, as Craig Starkey is just up ahead, a little bit further off the joint. And let's say local yellows coming out as many drivers are returning to the pit lane, having abandoned their runs. See Starkey, Stijink and Borgerson all going through. De Vries along with Wilson, Stenner and Lettonen still out on track. Paul Sims as well going for a bit of a push here. Let's see what he's got under the hood. As last drivers now making their way up to the line. Looks like Starkey's a little bit down on his previous, but he's still going to remain committed to the push and to the lap. Let's see. 54.7 to beat. It's going to be a 54.4, so he's going to jump just ahead of Borgerson, and he's going to get himself into the single digits. Will Borgerson have any retaliation? Paul Sims coming through with a 55.4. He's going to get himself into 12th place here, folks. And he's going to be outdone, though, by Stieging, who just comes across 54.779. Borgerson last real time on the board, I believe, as Lettonen has finished up their lap. And Borgerson goes into 8th with a 54.2. Very nicely done there. Although Lettonen just comes across and last minute surge. Really impressive stuff here from him, and that is qualifying done, folks. What a turnout, and here we are. So coming into Sebring for the second round of the Invitational is going to be Timi Lettonen in first place with a 52.625. Just slightly behind with the 0.684 is going to be Marvin Butson, with Pavel Stenner in third with a 0.814. 53.2 is going to be for Matthew Bouquet, and then Dan Wilson completes your top 5. But let's take a proper walk through the field, as everyone is now going to be getting trackside and getting ready to go. Of course, we have Lettonen and Butson alongside each other, and then you have Pavel Stenner along with Mathieu Bouquet in third and fourth for row 2. Row 3 is going to go to Dan Wilson and Hendrik De Vries in 5th and 6th, the number 9 and the 45, with the number 65 and 24 of Richard Cook and Sebastian Borgerson completing row 4. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be the number 32 of Robert Poor with the number 36 of Craig Starkey. And then to the second half of the field, it's Anthony Hyde along with Franklin Stieging in the 34 and 65 cars respectively, along with Paul Sims and Eero Vasuri in the number 9 and number 22 Oricas. Row 8 is going to go to Matt Fordham and Remy Alexander Borg. So good to see he's still repping the Alpine, even though he's not in the World Sprint Championship, at least yet. Forte and Barham are going to be 17th and 18th, with John Waldrich completing your order in 19th place in the number 24 here. So that is going to be our order effectively complete, and you can see all the drivers now lining up, getting ready to go. Going to be that crucial period, that final lock-in, that final setup. And then the drivers will start getting rolling.
Formation lap has started.
And there you go. You can hear it. The field is coming through. And now it's going to be a mad dash to get things started off here. So Lettonen leads, but in to the right. Let's see who has what it takes now. Who's going to be showing that they have the strength and the wherewithal to claim this second round here of the Invitational. Let's see how they do. It's 40 degrees, so really cooking hard here at Sebring. It is burning hot. That asphalt is going to practically be tacky to the touch, and those tyres are going to be melting hot. Let's see what the drivers will make of this one. It's near ideal conditions to drive. They're going to be nice and grippy, but careful of too much punch, as this is going to be where it starts getting going. Already, it's a mad dash. It's 3 wide, 4 wide. Look at the back there. All the cars splaying out, trying to get some early positions here. There's a challenge alongside each other. Starkey going around the outside, trying to look for any space that he can pocket a cheap position in at the start of the race. Meanwhile, back up to the front, there's a brake lock-up, and a brief excursion off the side of the track as they Bouquet and Butson both, as contact is being made, and a slide coming out for, I believe that is Richard Cook there. So big wobbles there coming out from some of the cars. In fact, no, that is Dan Wilson. That is my mistake. Pavel Stenner is going to be benefiting from this handsomely, as he's up into second right now. He's just got ahead of Butson out on the start of this lap. Through the hairpin turn, and everyone trying to file into singles nice and quickly, get themselves out of trouble. Although there is going to be Anthony Hyde going side by side with Starkey as we go now into the Cunningham corner. They're going to leverage the space on each other. Say Starkey trying to hold the inside line and really claim that apex there. Nicely done, well rotated through, but that's going to be Hyde just with a little bit more exit speed. That's going to be the ticket out of there. We got Stenner and Lettonen both running the 33 livery and both chasing each other right to the heart of the race. It's going to be where a lot of the fighting, I think, is set to happen, because we do have, of course, two of our top talents here in the Invitational duking it out for position. You can see the top four, well, top three, and then Bouquet kind of hanging in the middle. They are really starting to bunch on each other, and they're starting to push quite aggressively. It looks like Jordan Forte had a bit of an issue there, as Fordham has dived into the pits on lap 1. Not really sure what the motivation is there. I do know that we have 8 tyres available with tyre warmers, so they should be running optimal. It's only really going to be for the case of damage in a lot of cases. Stenner closing the gap as best as he can to Lettonen right now. Hunting for the optimal position to go on the attack. Let's see what their racers have to show us now. Stenner still on the back, and Dan Wilson actually is going to go for a challenge into the hairpin turn now. He's 6th place right now, jumping on the brakes just that little bit later. Dives it a bit too deep though. He's into the dirt and the grass. He's having to peel back and lose the position not only to Cook but to De Vries as well, potentially Borgerson, as they go side by side now into the second sector of the track. Brief contact, 2 wheels on the dirt, barely holding it together. Wilson is not having an easy time in the start of this race here. He's down to P8 right now, and he's flashing his lights in frustration, as that's now Robert Poor going alongside him. Actually, no, that is Borgerson. Poor is lying in wait like a vulture to see what opportunities he can steal out of this one. See, now going alongside as they head into Collier Curve. And actually dip back a little bit. He's not going to be pushing hard on the attack. I think that's the wiser move here. He's not going to want to push too much on the space, otherwise he'll get himself in trouble. Up to the front to say that is a familiar fight we see at the top. It's the top 4. Lettonen, Stenner, Butts in Bouquet. All running close, but Stenner going for a big dart around the outside, trying to get a swing with the higher speeds. And it's going to be a close run. And really going for it here. So Bouquet is going to wait as Butson is kind of caught in the middle of the fight between these two. He can bide his time, wait his turn, and hope that the two ahead of him make a mistake. That will be his best time to shine, and just hold the proximity. That's your best port of call. Just hold your proximity. Don't do anything rash, otherwise you are just asking to make this battle more difficult, and maybe even draw in the likes of Cook if you waste too much time. Starkey really trying to run close and just keep Hyde on his toes. See how he handles this one. He's now making his way. Meanwhile, further up, there's Henrik de Vries on the back of Cook. Closely committed attacks. While not too aggressive, I think this is the best course of action, but looking a little bit further behind that is going to be Sebastian Borgerson with a mistake coming out onto the back straight. And that's going to be opening the door for Robert Poor to now go alongside, try and push for a bit of room and get him through the Sunset Bend. Closing up the apex, still leaving a bit of space to make sure that he's got the room if there is a challenge. Good sportsmanship being shown there, but Poor with the superior speed is going to claim that position and keep it. He's up into 8th. There's quite a big gap now between P12 and P13. Jordan Forte about 10 seconds away, as there are multiple others further down the order that have not been able to quite keep close to the others on track. You see some of the deltas and some of the times. Fordham now into the pits. Looks like, I think that's for the second time here. Yeah, he's gone into the pits for the second time, so I wonder if there is a mechanical failure, a kind of mechanical issue that he's having to deal with right now. Either way, I hope he gets it back on track soon and he sorts it out. Otherwise, we could be looking at a DNF this time. Looks like there will be a very fast pit stop there, as that is going to be Fordham coming out of the pits just as quick as he went in. Lehtonen is leading here and holding a firm lead at that. Stenner is still close, but he's teetering on the half a second line, so he's not really got the same proximity that he once did. I'll say these Oricas look sharp. We don't get to see enough of these LMP2s making an appearance on the track. I have a bit of a fondness for that traditional LMP style design, but look behind, look no further. Butson on the back of Stenner and trying to catch him off guard down the back straight. A really good example of pressure and offensive driving by Butson and defensive driving from Stenner. He's not darting around the track trying to cover off, he's just sticking to his line, he's holding firm, and he's not compromising too hard while still giving a squeeze and a run for the money. Bouquet's even getting involved now, briefly pucking his lips and going for an attack into P3. Meanwhile, let's check in on Starkey, because he's been close to Anthony Hyde for a little while, and he's done quite well to still keep it within half a second. I think he's playing the longer game right now, just waiting and seeing if Hyde makes a mistake. If so, he'll be right there to take and capitalise. It's going to be a hard charge, as we are getting 10 minutes in now, and it does indeed look like the field is close. Pavel still going to be challenging onto Lehtonen, hovering around that half second, although he's getting a little bit closer now as we head into Sector 3. I think we're going to see a lot of this as he teeters on the edge and then comes back off. Got to strike the balance there and just know when the right time is to go for the attack. Butson could be putting on more pressure here. That's going to be Alexander Borgso coming out of the pits. I think John Wooldridge also went into the pits earlier because he's now behind Matt Fordham. So here we go. This is Pavel Stenner going down the inside of Sunset Bend and really trying to go for an overtake, although actually my mistake is they both got the same livery, so it's actually kind of hard to tell. Stenner was going to the outside and say that was Lehtonen going on the defense. Stenner with a solid attack, still trying to go narrow and close that gap, but now Butson is really running hot, and Bouquet not too far behind either. They're starting to really converge into a three-way fight of their own. As they're starting to converge quite hard. Gonna be good here, as we'll have soon, I think, a real fight on our hands. Here's Henrik de Vries in the CrowdStrike car. Richard Cook is his target. P5 is his destiny. Yellow flag coming out. Trying to exactly discern the location of that. Let's say that is Alexander Borgso, I think, going off the track. He was running very slow into the hairpin turn, so I believe that would be the cause. Richard Cook actually quite far away from P4. we'll have to... Oh, saying that, what's that? That is... What's going on there? That is Wooldridge. Wooldridge is suffering hard. He's practically limping that car across. Spending more of the time off the track than he is on it. I think he's got a serious mechanical issue that he'll have to resolve ASAP. Right now, he's actually proving to be a bit dangerous on the course. And, oh, ouch, massive tank slapper and slamming into the inside wall of Sunset Bend. Driver's got to be careful, as now we have Wooldridge marooned on the inside of the apex. Got to be so careful. You can see there's Starkey coming through, taking evasive action. Then meanwhile, back up to the front as Butson going for an attack. There's Pavel Stenner on to the inside, coming out of turn 3-4 into Gurney Bend. Butson has managed to get ahead, and Letonen has got 1.5 seconds of time. Throughout all of this squabbling, all of this fighting, Letonen is being able to get away, start to peel a gap. Stenner's not going to be happy about that, but now Butson is going to be leading this charge. Let's see if he actually goes and commits to the attack. You're going to have to commit fully if you want to get that run in. Butson now already peeling 0.5 seconds off of Letonen's lead. We'll have to watch these two with vested interest. But right now, Stenner and Bouquet are having a squabble of their own. They're going to go side by side into the third sector. It's going to be a massive tussle as these two are drag racing each other all the way through, side by side, left to right to left. Now onto the back straight. Bouquet is going to be really pushing the throttle and hammering down. Stenner, in fact, getting displaced down to P4. I think he's lost a bit of momentum here. We have unfortunately lost Wooldridge, as you can see on the timing tower, suffering from a mechanical issue. He has retired from this race. We did see him struggle and limp the car around. Looks like we've also lost Jordan Forte, which is a real shame. Like he was on relatively okay footing. Not sure what happened. If he does join us in chat, I'd love to learn exactly what happened. Insights for the commentary box. Dan Wilson. E6 still chasing onto De Vries. Really hunting for the chance. And now going for a big shot. As all we can see there's a Wilson is sliding, and a big mistake into the hairpin turn is going to drop him behind Cook and Poor. He's all of a sudden got a lot more work to do here. Down into 8th. Still in the top 10, but it's a drop from where he wants to be. Meanwhile, Butson has thoroughly caught up to Timmy Letonen and is starting to eke away and chip away at that lead even more. We will have ourselves a fight on our hands for the lead, folks, very soon, as this is Butson chipping away 10th by 10th by 10th, now down the back straight, 2 tenths between the cars. Will we see an attack into the Sunset Bend? Let's find out. He is going to go for it. He's going to go down the inside. Challenge for the apex here. Will there be a switchback coming out from Letonen? Let's see. He goes a bit narrower as they head down to the start finish straight. It is going to be Butson who holds on to the move for now. Really mesmerizing stuff. Say excellent work here. Excellent work from Butson, not only clawing up that much time, but then being able to go for the overtake and make it stick with such conviction. Beautiful. Art right there. Wilson hopefully getting a big chance to recover himself. As we can see, there's Robert Poor with a bit of a mistake into the first sector. Wilson is going to claim a smooth P7. Now coming through. Out of the hairpin turn into Fangio and then Cunningham. Already peeling half a second to Robert in the 32. We'll see soon what these drivers are capable of as we get into that crunch phase, but we're 15 minutes in, and so far Button leads by a second as Lettonen, previously indomitable in the lead, has met his match. Meanwhile, Bouquet is starting to challenge and get mighty close to the back of the number 33, with the other 33 of Pavel Stener in fourth, having lost some momentum. But I don't think he's out of the fight just yet. I think he can pick this one back up. He just needs to focus and really rein himself in. Meanwhile, further down is Henry de Vries, leading his own cohort of cars as Richard Cook is about a second away, and Dan Wilson in 7th, having made a couple of mistakes and is now on the recovery. Ford in 8, Augustin in P9, and Anthony Hyde in P10, with Starkey leading P11 and that cohort of cars. Staging 12 seconds away in P12, and then Hero, Barham, Sims, Fordham and Borgso remain on track, with an unfortunate departure for Jordan Forty and John Wooldridge. Wooldridge with technical issues, and Forty, I believe, had a little bit of a hiccup all the same. So I guess we will find out after the race, if we can. Try and find out. The way now. P3, Bouquet chasing on to Lettonen. Stener is still a second behind and out of the picture for the moment. We'll see what happens here. But now it's going to be a hard-fought chase to the end. I'm going to say Bouquet has been holding his own here and doing a good job of it all. Now, unfortunately, Starkey did lose a few seconds to Hyde, as those two were previously running in very close cahoots. Now about 5.5 seconds away, so he's not got that proximity that he once had. Poor could be back on to the chase of Dan Wilson, but eyes to the front for now, as we could see Bouquet going for a challenge into Sunset Bend. Let's see, let's find out. They're closing that gap to about 1/4 of a second before we head into the apex. It's not enough to challenge for the position, but it is enough to unsettle Lettonen, I think. Make him feel a bit of the pressure. It really is about making him feel the pressure here. Bouquet, 1/4 of a second. Keeping things close and narrow. Still seems to be the battle to watch right now. Watch and monitor the live gap now through the hairpin turn. See them get fairly close. What can you do to defend? You're 2 seconds behind Button right now, so a similar position to how you were a few laps ago. Lettonen now is being the hunted by Bouquet. In fact, not too dissimilar to what we saw with Stener, the other 33 car. Under massive pressure in second as the first place car managed to jump away. Looks like we got someone running narrow on the infield. I'm going to try and see exactly who that is. That is Matt Fordham. So something has gone wrong with his LMP2 here. There is a major issue happening right now with his car. He's dealing with some kind of mechanical issue. The car is effectively in limp mode. You can see the coned off GP pit entrance. Not sure he's keeping going here, but he seems to have got a bit of pace back. Let's hope that he can keep things all together as we head into the second half of the race. So unfortunately, we do have an issue with the onboard cams. They're not working currently, but I'm pleased to say that the update rate has been fixed. So HUD elements will now update at the proper tick rate, though we won't be having a situation like we saw before, which was super slow and buggy HUD overlays. So you can see here now, nice and fast, nice and detailed. And you can see this is right now getting a bit of telemetry data. This is Matthew Bouquet. It doesn't quite have the same effect without the onboards, but it's still something. See the kind of gaps that we have going, and to say let's check in on a number of stops as well. Say Fordham and Borgso having taken a stop here. Oh, let's see, here's going to be something special. This is going to be Pavel Stenner going on the attack. See, going up to the side of Bouquet, now sort of refound that fire. The fire has been lit now underneath. Bouquet will be close, but Stenner will be on the hunt all the same. No more easy runs here now. This is where things start to get serious, where the drivers now start to put some serious times down and close those walls in on the competition. See Dan Wilson going for a hunt now on Richard Cook, so he's trying to restore and recover from his previous position, and oh, big slide, and that is going to be Cook completely collecting Wilson. Luckily, he's stayed out of trouble and he's able to keep going forward. But what happened with Cook there? Did he just have a massive lockup? I can only assume so. Either way, he slapped right into the side of Wilson, and I wouldn't be surprised if both of them got damage. It's a tailwood lockup right there. Painful contact, and you can see another lock going in. Remember, I say no ABS or anything like that. There's going to be Cook into the pits for a pit stop now. Back to our front, and a familiar sight to say Bouquet is going to be alongside Letonen. Let's see what these two have in store. Now running all the way around into turn one, you can see Letonen peeling to the right before making a sweep to the inside and briefly making contact with Bouquet in pursuit of his speed. He is going to be able to defend and hold that through going on the racing line. So Bouquet going for a more defensive approach in affair. Let's see what's happening. See how puts in handles, say 3.5 seconds space now. Looks like the headlamps are coming on here. things are starting to get a bit more grey. We can see the wipers coming out on the front of those cars. Something's afoot here, ladies and gentlemen. Something is about to change. I can feel it in my bones. Steeging's heading into the pits. I think we sense something is up. What's happening here? Steeging into the pits. Wait, hang on a second. Cook has pitted. And he's on the wets. Steeging is on the wets as well. What do they know that we don't? What do the drivers know? I mean, we can see them with the wipers now, and things have become suddenly a lot more overcast. Let's see what we can learn. Oh yeah, you can see the sky has gone fully grey. There is yellow flags coming out now. That's going to be Paul Sims on the infield. You can see a bit of a glossy sheen as water begins to accumulate on those body panels. Let's say fighting side by side, Lettonen, Bouquet. Bouquet making a bit of contact with Lettonen once more in a tale as old as time. See that Bouquet and Lettonen are going to continue jousting and sparring. But what's going to be happening around them? Look at that sky. That sky is not a happy one, and I think Bouquet knows it because he's all of a sudden really turned up the wick. And oh no, that's Stenner! Pavel Stenner has spun coming out of the hairpin turn. Too much throttle. He's going to drop behind De Vries, and he's out into P5. They're getting spicy as the track is getting darker and damper. Remember, it's still about 40 degrees there, so if there's going to be rain, it's going to be hot, humid, sticky, and it's going to be an uncomfortable time for any driver on there. Now, if you were there in real life, you would be practically slurping the air rather than breathing it. But here we go. Button into the pit lane. What's the strategy call here? Bouquet making a choice to stay out with Lettonen in tow. Meanwhile, we have De Vries heading into the pits alongside Pavel Stenner as Dan Wilson remains out on the track. Robert Poor as well now heading into the pit lane. Let's see what the rest of the field has to say about it, as it looks like rain is really coming down. And oh, complete aquaplane and slide onto the approach of the pit lane for Borgerson. Hopefully there's no issues there, as that is Anthony Hyde, and all contact made, collecting another car into the approach of the pit lane. They're blockading the pit lane fully. This is the worst that can happen. Starkey is round as well, as the track has fully been immersed in water. Paul Sims into the pits too. You can already see the water accumulating on the track, and bright and dark spots quickly pooling as multiple racers having to dart into the pit lane, dive in quick as they can, as we'll now see more than half the field transition onto the wet weather tyre. Let's see what we have on target then. So Bouquet is going to be still in the lead here, of course, having taken the pit, or yet to take the pit properly. He's still on the mediums, and I think this is going to be a problem for him that will quickly make itself known. You can already start to see now there is mist, there is water kicking up. There's a lot of water kicking up here. He butts in into fourth. And I think Button has a real opportunity here. He's going to have a chance. He's on those wet tyres as the track is getting much, much wetter. We'll see what this future holds as Bouquet, Letonen both into the pit now. See, is Wilson going to jump in? Yes, he is also jumping in, so Button could have a chance to catch and leapfrog the entire field even more now. As you can hear him going past, how much is the gap going to be? That's the bit that I'm curious of, as now he's going to cross paths and push forward. What kind of timing are we going to see? That's going to be 10 seconds. 10 plus seconds now. The field fully onto the wet weather tyre and the track conditions rapidly changing just like that. See, Bouquet is going to be in a good spot. De Vries is 4 seconds away, so he just needs to keep a handle on his car, and then he will be into a smooth P2 finish. 12 minutes to go. And things are looking up. Things are looking mighty quick and pretty fun. Now, I know not a lot of drivers are fans of wet weather, but I personally absolutely love it. From a spectator and a driver point of view. Wilson is going to be in 6th and in his own pocket of the track entirely. 15 seconds between himself and Poor in P5. Now we have seen a lot of position change-ups owing to the weather shift. Looks like we have Paul Sims unfortunately spun out just coming into the second sector. And he is going to re-emerge just out in 17th and a lap behind. I think that is going to be the number 41 of none other than a Bouquet there. Okay, getting lapped by P2. I think that's his second lapping. He is, I think, 2 laps down, if I remember correctly. As we'll see if we change over some of that data. Yes, indeed. We'll have our racers now displaced out around the track in a lot of ways. I think this is now changing of priorities for many. This is no longer a race about, well, racing. This is a race of survival. This is a race of attrition. I mean, look at that track. At the start of this race, folks, we were talking a 40-degree sunset paradise of racing, and then the heavens have opened in a humid thunderstorm. See, even with the sun peeking through the clouds on occasion, it is a royal minefield of water that the drivers are having to contest. And even the most experienced of racers are having a struggle with containing their cars. Even with all of that. Mighty impressed with any driver who's able to wrangle these LMP2s in such rapidly changing conditions. See, De Vries is trying his best to keep the car wrangled, but that is going to be, I believe, Paul Sims once again losing the car and really struggling to keep that LMP2 under control. It's not easy. It really is not easy at all. It's a big challenge. It is a big challenge controlling these cars. Here we are, final 10 minutes now. Zijink in 13th. Then looking at the board, it's going to be a couple of big moments ahead. Look at that track. Just look at it. It has gone from shine to rain so fast. It has gone so fast downhill. What do you even say to that? I mean, credit where credit is due. The drivers are still navigating this like absolute champions. We're even seeing water now pooling on the surface of the circuit. We're going to have puddles and we're going to have aquaplaning. And you can see it for yourself in some of the reflections. They've got to be so careful of where they place their car. The apexes are now a death sentence. Let's say it for what it is. The apexes on this course are now a no-go. And if you try any sudden throttle input while turning, you might as well say hello to your rear end meeting your front. You will not have a good time. You will be round very swiftly. And you will be in trouble. Time to see who has what it takes. Who's going to be able to wrangle these LMP2s to victory? And who is going to get the most out of this current situation and maybe gain some positions in the eye of the storm? 7 minutes remain. And we're looking at, let's say, a few different scenarios. I think we are, for one, looking at about 3 to 4 more laps, as the speed is going to be greatly reduced thanks to the wet weather. And as well as that, we will be looking at, while not so much fights, it will be drivers fighting their cars. Looking for any opportunity to leverage a mistake of their opponent rather than challenge them directly. I mean, look at Iro right now. He's just got an easy P10. Not through fights, but through the fact that we had a major mistake coming from Mr. Barham, who's now going to rejoin the track in P13 after losing to Hyde and Stijink as well. This is where the action is going to be. It's going to be with drivers making mistakes, having moments off the side of the track. And there is another yellow that briefly came out. And oh no, you can see right there, that is exactly what we were saying. Wilson with a spin, but credit where it's due. Fairly quick recovery. Yeah, nice and quick recovery there. He's only going to lose a single position to Stenner. Wilson, you have my respect. 10 out of 10. Quickly getting your car spun back round and onto the right path. Nicely done. And we are going to see track left and right. We're going to be tracking everyone that we can who is sort of going round and who is having issues with the circuit. As I think in our peripheral vision, I've been seeing a lot of drivers really struggle. We do say goodbye to Robert Port, unfortunately. We have our third DNF of the day. It is going to be Port. He just quit out 100 seconds ago. Unfortunate there. I think we just couldn't keep that car going, couldn't keep it under control. You can see Paul Sims having a bit of a similar experience as we've seen him a few times struggle with car control. Finding that car control in these circumstances is the most important thing. Got to be so gentle with the throttle as well. So smooth running here. we do have Bouquet with a bit of a surprise. He's actually managed to peel back a lot of the gap that was previously held. Down to 1.3 seconds. Could we see a surprise win from Bouquet here? I really had to say something, didn't I? I really had to open my mouth and say something. I don't even have words. I don't even have words for that. As soon as you call it. That is... If anyone needed proof that the Caster's Curse is a real thing, there you go. Free of charge. That is your proof right there. So it looks like we have Button with a mistake of his own, as well as we now have him down in P2. He's been struggling to wrangle the Orica, and now Bouquet is in with a surprise overtake. Now, he's got a lot to gain from this. He's got P3 in the last round. P1 in this round could serve him massively, put him in the lead of the Invitational. So a lot rides on this. But we do see Bouquet heading into the pit. In a twist of events, what we thought was going to be a last-minute surge from the number 41 has turned into a silent consolation. With him now going into the box, this is going to be ripe for the taking, as this is now going to be De Vries's P2. Lettonen could even potentially overtake him here, as Lettonen is in the lead of the championship. The Bouquet is going to be making his way out now at the very least. So he will be emerging from the pit box, but will he be able to beat the number 33? You can see Stenner in the background, but Lettonen few tenths of a second away. As we are, I believe, on the final lap of the race, depending on how quickly Button can get this car round. De Vries is going to take a P2. I'm very impressed with that result from him. There we saw De Vries impressing early in the Hyperpole qualifying. And now this is a chance for him to really show what he's capable of. And he hasn't always had that chance. He has had a sort of up and down seasons in GRDC. So when we look to the World Sprint Championship, he has had a sort of up and down season there. But for now, looks like this is Button's to lose. Although he is kicking the rear a fair bit, and he's snapping. He is snapping. In control is probably a bit of a strong term. And he's controlling the car. Controlling the car, but he's not necessarily in control. But you can see right there, he's peeling off to the side of the, say, Le Mans curve. But now, final approach. I think this is going to be the last lap. We have 15 seconds until the timer ticks to 0. This is going to most likely be curtains on the race here. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, and 0. So now it's just crossing the line and confirming the finish. Marvin Button, what a showing here, and what an impressive romp through the field and into P1. Successful campaign here, brilliantly done, and now we see the rest of the field come through. Hendrik De Vries in P2, also with a great showing here of his own in that Orica. The number 45 car is going to be him. Bouquet, closely trailed by Timmy Lettonen, was looking like the driver to beat, but an unfortunate pit stop, likely due to fuel, was going to be his undoing. P3 nonetheless, great result with Lettonen just behind him in P4. Of course, leader of the Invitational. Could still be that after this. We'll see what the points hold. Pavel Steiner coming into P5 with an impressive showing. Although Wilson has spun just before the finish line. Come on, mate, get himself through. Get through that finish line. You're gonna be overtaken before long. Oh no, come on. Get yourself across that line. Time is of the essence here. There you go. P6 finish and into the pit lane. Borgerson coming through, aquaplaning and sliding his way out of Sunset Bend, bringing the car home in one piece. That is really the key aim here, and he's done it in P7. We will see Cook coming through in P8, not too far behind, with Anthony Hyde now coming through the bend in P9. You can see those fogs flashing. You're really having to maximize safety and visibility where you can. Stijing into P10, closing off the top 10. And then you have the rest of the field now following suit. Gary Barham into 11th with Iro not too far behind, just a second away in P12. Starkey already in the pits in 13th with Fordham in 14th. And then Borgso, I believe, last driver on the track to finish a lap in 15th, with Paul Sims already having finished and gone into the pits. What a round. What a showing from the racers now. And I'm curious to see what they think, but that is where we close it. That is where we have our field now complete. And here we are. Session is over, folks. Session is done. And just like that, you have your times. So, it butts in along with De Vries, Bouquet, Lettonen, Stenner, Wilson, Borgerson, Cook, Hyde, and Stijink in your top 10. And then into your second half, it's going to be Barham, Visuri, Starkey, Fordham, Borgso, and Sims, with Poor, Forte, and Wooldridge unfortunately having to bow out of the race for various reasons. What a showing, and what a turn of events, as the rain completely decimated a lot of drivers' races here. They really did have a riot and did have a lot to do in terms of wrangling those cars. Now, we are of course going to see who we get a chance to chat to, as we do have Butts waiting in the commentary box, in the interview waiting room even. We'll see who is going to be joining us as well. Let's see, so let's catch up with De Vries and interviews. Let's put out the request. Of course, if you're in the chat right now, let us know what you thought of that race out there, because that was something special entirely, and a really unique combination, I've got to say. LMP2's Sebring, and with a sudden thunderstorm. Like, where do you even come up with this? But we are going to be going into our final round next week, so we will have to, of course, be staying tuned for that. It is going to be a pretty exciting one, and I, for one, cannot wait. We're going to have some real exciting stuff here coming out, but I think it's only fair that we see who we can talk to. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a chance to talk to Bouquet tonight, so we're going to talk to P2 first. We're going to work our way up the order. We are going to start with De Vries, and then we'll move on to Butson. So let's get him dragged in. There you go. De Vries, can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, can hear you.
Perfect, perfect. Well, solid race there from yourself. P2 finish. How are you feeling? Tell me, initial thoughts.
Yeah, very good, very good. I don't know how, but I managed to not spin. In the other championships, I spun the last 4 or 5 races in the dry, and with this crazy weather, I didn't spin and held it on the track. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, I mean, what was going through your mind as you saw that weather change? Because obviously we started and Sebring looked absolutely beautiful. It was nice and hot. It was 40 degrees, grippy as can be. What was going through your mind when you saw those clouds start to turn?
Yeah, it was very scary, to be honest. It was in the beginning of the race, you could see the clouds coming, and yeah, I was on a fuel saving. I thought I would go for a 0 pit stop, but the weather came in quite quickly, and I made the call on the right time to change the tires, and yeah, it was a nice, nice track conditions.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you seem to handle that really well. I mean, how are you feeling about the LMP2s? Of course, you're in the Oricas tonight. How did you feel about the car? How did it feel?
Yeah, I don't race them that much, but I liked it. I liked it. You can really push them, and you have to be cautious on the braking. But the Sebring and the LMP2 is a good combo. It's great fun.
And speaking of combos, of course we had the 911 say GTEs last time out at Imola, and now we've had the LMP2s at Sebring. What's your ideal combo? What would be your ideal combo if you had anything you wanted to see be brought up? What would you have? What would you have?
My favorite track is Spa, so something around Spa. Maybe the hypercars. Then we have had all the cars. So yeah, we will see.
Hypercars at Spa. I like it. I do like it. I mean, with this result out there tonight, of course, it is going to have a bit of an impact on your points. So you, as of last round, say you're in P8, and of course now in P2, this is going to put you in a very solid position. So, I mean, potential for podium. What are we feeling about that potential?
We will see. We will see. I hope I can. The last races in the other championships didn't end so good, so I hope I can do it better in this championship.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way: it's a different circumstance, but you get a do over, and if this round's anything to go by, I think you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, and they put up a nice, other kind of track conditions, different cars. I like the type of championship.
Yeah, I was going to say you've taken well to this one, and particularly tonight. I think this combo was certainly a strong one for you.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts that you wanted to share with anyone watching at home or anyone like that?
No. Yeah. Thanks for commentating, and also on the other championships and 2 new guys commentating. Very good. Very nice to watch. Back after the race.
I'll say thank you for giving us something to yap over. But
yep.
I'd say pleasure as always, mate. But they're gonna let you go. Really brilliant stuff out there tonight. Hopefully we see that momentum carry over into whatever the last round may bring.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
Take care, buddy. Okay, there we go. That was Henry de Vries. That, of course, P2 finisher, P8 last time, and potential for some momentum to get a podium finish in this championship. But let's talk with the other superstar we have waiting in the wings. P5 last time, and now coming in with a win in the LMP2s. It's Marvin Butson. Let's get him in. Ooh, Marvin, can you hear us, mate?
Yes, I can hear you.
Lovely, lovely. Well, adrenaline must be pumping. Win out here in Sebring. What's your initial thoughts?
I'm sweating like a pig.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I take it it's pretty warm where you are as well.
Yes, not that warm. Northern Germany, it's not that warm currently, but it's warm.
I mean, how are you feeling about this combo? Because say LMP2s don't really get that much track time. So, how did that car feel for you today?
Yes, I think the LMP2 and the Sebring combo is, I think, the best LMP2 combo you can get. In the dries, when sweat, especially in these conditions, the car constantly tries to kill you.
Yeah, I think we saw that from everyone, yourself included, like really having to fight the car. I'm going to ask you the same thing that I just asked of Reese. What was going through your mind as you saw the clouds loom over and you saw it start to rain? Because we started in such a nice condition. 40 degrees, track nice and tacky, nice and hot. what were you thinking as those clouds and that rain started to roll in?
Yeah, I saw the forecast, and the initial thought was, when does the rain come? And it comes quite early. What was good for me, because I went flat out the whole race, and so I don't needed to pit for new tires. Or I don't need to pit just for tires, so also for fuel, and that was the game changer. And on the other hand, I know Timmy was saving fuel. I raced alongside him in Discord, and he was saving fuel. He would have made it easily to the end without a pit stop, but the rain got there earlier than we expected. So lucky me.
Yeah, well, it certainly worked out for you. I mean, did you initially come in with a plan to make a pit stop, or like others, were you planning to save and go for a zero stopper?
No, I wanted to go flat out the whole race. Because I hoped for the rain. As I said, I didn't expect it to come that early, but in the end, it was the right choice. I made the right choice at the pit stop. I was the first car from the lead group who pitted, and I think I made 10 seconds up to the other guys. So that was the right choice.
Yeah, that was certainly the right choice. You did manage to undercut the field, and we were sort of watching the timing board over here, and it was, I think, 11.5 seconds at one point. You had a lead onto P2, so certainly the right call, really good strategy, and making the best out of the situation. So with that in mind, P5 last time, P1 today. What's your thoughts about, say, championship potential? Like, are you looking for a podium? You looking for a win here? Because you've got some good rounds and good points behind you now.
Yeah, it's completely in the range to fight for the championship. After P5, what was a bit a disappointment, because I was quite good in P2 before I got my drive to penalty, which was completely expected that I get this penalty, because the track limits at Imola are very harsh. I think it's a bit harsher with GT cars than in hypercars. I think that's my opinion, or that's my thought about it. But yeah, now it's on. Let's go for it. One round. Nobody knows what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
All the same.
As a frame of reference for you, I've done a little bit of commentator napkin maps while we've been discussing this. So P5 and P1, those are your results. Now, Pavel Stenner, he's got a P2 and a P5, so you will be ahead of him on points. Bouquet's got 2 P3s on the trot, so he may be roughly on equal with you. And then Letonen has got a P1 and a P4, so certainly going to be within the striking distance of getting that podium spot. And to say the championship is within range here. So, what are you hoping for in terms of combo for round 3? Of course, we've had the GTEs, we had the LMP2s. I'd say De Vries said that he wanted hypercars around Spa. What would your ideal combo be for round 3?
I think for me it's obviously the hypercar. I quite only race the hypercars currently. But track-wise, I would go for something like Bahrain or Fuji.
Ooh.
There are 2 tracks who are really suit my driving style. I'm really good at the braking zone, applying the brakes on these cars without traction control, without ABS, and so the flowing tracks don't suit me very well. in LMU. I love Imola in ACC, but with hypercars, I'm a bit off at this track. But Fuji and Bahrain are very good tracks for me.
Well, we'll of course find out, and we'll hope to see. But really good work out there today, mate. So you've done brilliantly, and you're certainly within championship contention now. So looking forward to seeing what the final round brings. And any final words that you wanted to say to anyone watching at home?
Yeah, I want to thank my team, Metal Motorsport. I think some were watching the stream. Yeah, thanks to them, and see you next time.
Well, been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for joining us as always, and catch up with you maybe soon.
Thank you. Good night.
And there you go, folks. That was Marvin. That was our winner of the round, and that is where we draw tonight's broadcast to a close. So make sure you stay tuned to the GRDC channel, because this is where we're going to be releasing the video confirming the round 3 combo. Will want to stay subscribed for that. You will want to stay tuned in. Don't go anywhere, of course. But time to say goodbye. Whatever next round brings, you're going to want to be there for it. It is going to be the climactic finale of the season of the Invitational, and it is going to be quite an explosive one, with fights converging and a new championship battle being born as of this evening. For now though, folks, thank you as always. My name's been Ben Sapsford. I will see you next time. Good night.